I'd like to welcome everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone, and please rise and remain standing until after the national anthem. Good afternoon. Welcome, class of 2025, family, friends, loved ones who are here today. Thank you. If you traveled from out of town, I hope you've had safe travels. My name is Philip Davis. I'm the program director. This is the 7th white coat ceremony we've had here in the Lincoln Theater. Dean Lou Fincher, who's the Dean of the School of Health Sciences, and the Senior Vice President of Emory and Henry College, could not be here today, as Dean Tracy Wright, who's the Dean of Students, could also not be here. Today we'll have Dr. Rachel Rogers as our guest featured speaker, along with Noah, who is our class president for the class of 2024, and then we'll have the white coat ceremony and finish a ceremony. So without further delay, Dr. Rogers.
Thank you so much for the honor of speaking with you today. I haven't had the chance to meet you all yet, but you'll see me a couple of times this week in class. I'm a pediatrician here in Marion at Mountain View Pediatrics, and one of the community providers, I guess, who dove right in when the school came to Marion, and have really enjoyed working with the students. You've survived your first full semester, and now it begins, your clinical experience. This is why you're here, right? You know, talking with patients, creating a differential diagnosis, and executing a treatment plan, wearing the white coat. I remember my white coat ceremony in 1995 at East Carolina School of Medicine. I'm not sure I understood the gravity of wearing the coat and the expectations that were placed on my shoulders. In fact, I'm sure you're thinking, I'm just trying to get through the next 24 months. And that should be your focus. Putting one foot in front of the other, learning as much as you can, and taking each challenge as it comes. So let me help you see the other side of things. Over 20 years later, what has the white coat meant to me? First, what a privilege it brings. As a provider, you're allowed to sit with people, ask questions, and listen to intimate details about their lives that they won't discuss with others. They're trusting you to keep their secrets and guide them through difficult times and help them find solutions to their problems. You're examining their body while they're very vulnerable, and they're seeking help from you. What a privilege. During my career as a pediatrician, I've had the joy of watching families grow. I've attended C-sections, receiving the newborn from the obstetrician, and then watching that same child graduate from high school. or sitting with the family while they absorb a new diagnosis that has just changed their lives forever. And I've had the privilege of a teen sharing with me their truth about their sexuality. But in the same breath, they say, "I can't tell my parents till I turn 18, worried they will not be accepted." The heartache that they are living, but feeling honored that they're willing to share their truth with me, their provider. Be present for your patients. I've attended funerals of patients wondering how the family will ever recover their loss. And then I've been honored to have old patients return to me with their new babies, trusting me to care for their precious new family. Again, the privilege that comes with our profession. Second, the white coat brings great responsibility. You have chosen a profession that does not guarantee an 8-to-5 job. You may have to investigate medication interactions or research symptoms, creating a differential diagnosis on a difficult patient you saw today. Or maybe you aren't sure what to do with this patient. First, you have the responsibility to do no harm. This may include asking your supervisor for help or calling a specialist. Know your limits, listen to your patients, and help them find answers. Not only do you have responsibility toward your patients, but also a responsibility for your nurses and other team members. Treat them with respect. Some days that can be tough. Staying professional and showing them respect through your words and actions, being a leader is a great responsibility. As a clinical preceptor, I have worked with students from many different schools, and the degree of professionalism that you are taught here at Emory and Henry really sets you apart. Take your education seriously. Learn from these great faculty members as they're here to help you succeed. Take advantage of your clinical preceptors as your clinical rotations start and ask questions. You can just go through the motions just to get that grade, or you can squeeze every moment of learning from each rotation. This lifelong learning is part of our responsibility as providers. So first, there's the privilege, and then there's the responsibility, and thirdly, the white coat will bring you opportunities. You may be asked to speak at a local church about COVID, or maybe at a local school on career day about what it means to be a PA. Or maybe you'll have the opportunity to join the hospital board or provide medical missions overseas. Opportunities will find you. Will you be ready? When I was in medical school, I said with conviction, I will never start my own practice. But by 2003, I knew I could provide current state-of-the-art pediatric care in Southwest Virginia. And I opened the first female-owned medical office in Marion. Now we have 25 full-time employees. Don't let opportunities pass you by. You have the ability to make an impact on the people and community around you. There will be days you'll feel weary, days you get yelled at by a family member, or days that you feel that you're failing your patient. But the good days will outweigh the bad. And as you begin your career as a PA, wearing your white coat, understand your privilege and responsibility by demonstrating humility and grace towards others, and keep an open mind about the opportunities ahead. Best wishes on your journey.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rogers. Dr. Rogers and her husband, Dr. Tony Clary, who I won't embarrass by making him stand up, have been tremendous supporters of not only Emory and Henry's PA program, but PAs in general. And I don't think I could be successful as a physician assistant if it wasn't for physicians that I've worked with, not as supervisors, but as colleagues. And I've always felt like a colleague with Dr. Clary, and I know how Dr. Rogers makes our our students feel. In fact, she hired 2 of our students, so she really believes in what she says, and I appreciate that. Our next speaker is Noah Cook. He's the president of the class of 2024, and he will make remarks to the class of 2025. He's in the clinical year. One thing, the white coat ceremony, people ask, why do we do the white coat ceremony now? In our program, we have our students rotate and start clinical rotations in the Mel Lehman Free Clinic the 2nd semester. So students, you'll be wearing your white coat and being in the Mel Lehman Free Clinic. You also get an opportunity to go down to Emory and Henry and do some sports medicine with me. So thank you, Dr. Rogers and Noah.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. I know you all are excited to get your white coats, so I'll try to keep things brief. First, I'd like to wish you all congratulations, not just for myself, but on behalf of my entire cohort, who are all out on rotations today, and so I'll be representing them. You all have been so successful so far, making it through your first semester, and now you're really stepping out onto the path into clinical medicine. And in just under a year from now, you'll be heading out into the communities to care for patients in the areas that you may continue to practice in after your graduation. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And it's not just a responsibility to be good providers, but to be compassionate and patient-focused for the people we care for. Many of them come to us in the hardest moments of their lives, looking for help. And if you're in a specialty where providers are few and far between, or you're working in an area that is medically underserved, you may be all they have to turn to. And so you have a responsibility to do your best for them. And that white coat should remind you of that. Simultaneously, though, our white coat is similar to those worn by physicians, nurse practitioners, physical therapists, and others. And that's to remind you that medicine is cooperative. We don't do this by ourselves. Every day, you're coordinating with other people for the best care for the patients. And you might need to refer out to people who know better than you in certain specialties. Right now, I'm on rotation with Cumberland Mountain Community Services, and they cover an enormous area of the state. They're some of the few mental health providers, and one day we'll be seeing patients in Lebanon, the next in Grundy, the next in Tazewell, and many days patients drive in from Bluefield just to come see us. And most days, my preceptor is the only provider in the building, but that doesn't mean that the allies of healthcare are not there. Every day we're surrounded by nurses, counselors, case managers, people who do the back office billing and everything like that. And all of them have one goal in mind, which should be in the front of our minds at all times, which is to provide compassionate, patient-oriented care to everyone who walks through that door. Additionally, even though I'm out of didactic now, I spend so much of my time continuing to learn. I believe in the last 3 weeks I've spent 80 hours on UpToDate, just double-checking myself on every decision. And so the white coat also reminds us to be eternal students. Learning doesn't end when we walk out that door going into clinicals. It doesn't end when we pass our pants. It doesn't restart when we have to recertify. It is a continuing journey, because medicine is always changing and the needs of our patients are always evolving. So, with all those things in mind, I just want to congratulate you on this great next step in your journey, and I know you all will be great providers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Noah. So you're only studying 80 hours, so you're kind of slacking a little bit? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, medicine's constantly changing, and collaboration, everything you said. Thank you very much, Noah. So we're going to proceed with a white coat ceremony now. So as your students, as your name is called, you can approach the stage, and you'll be presented with your white coat. The first student is Bailey Agate. Maggie Alley. Maggie Alley. Maya Annunziato. Erica Borth. Jacob Bowles. Lauren Branch. Mary Brewer. Jade Calloway. Rachel Campbell. Gray Capazzoli. Brooke Cox. Kiara Douglas. Olivia Downing. Taylor Durham. Fiza Asan. Stephen Elsey. Chloe Hall. Katie Hartz. Alex Hoensi. Friel Imran. Lauren Klink. Jasmine Lee. Mariana Lyon. Amber Major. Hannah Martin. Audrey Mason. Callie McMurray. Dina Nguyen. Urim O. Maya Parler. Kajal Patel. Amolia Pana. Ravi Sutton, Satinani. Brandon Servino. Rochelle Tauro. Michael Tiamno. Congratulations, you look great in your white coats. And it's a career, not a job, so you signed up. Remember that. You asked for it. Yeah, let's give him. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention our staff and faculty. First of all, our staff member and administrative assistant is Miss Nikki Carroll. She's right here. She steamed and pressed all of your white coats, and she said next year one of you are going to do it. But she also does the program and really keeps kind of is the glue that holds everything together. And the staff that's here, we have Miss Amanda Fleener. She's our director for didactic education. The students get to know her very well. So I'll introduce the clinical, the didactic staff, and then the clinical staff. PA school is divided into sort of two phases. For those of you that don't know, we have a didactic year, and then we have a clinical year. And Noah's in the clinical year, so in 2025 you're still in the didactic year, but you're going to get to the clinical year and successfully. So also is Shanna Presley, Professor Shanna Presley. And then Dr. Joy Borrow is our anatomy professor. And students love anatomy. That's the first. That's the first course that they're really. I think I'm really in PA school. I'm really in graduate education right now, and thank you. And then Dr. Misty Justice, who recently joined our faculty as professor. And then for our clinical staff, Professor Christopher Watson is the director for clinical education. So he organizes and manages all your clinical rotations. And then his assistant is Professor Megan McReynolds. And then last but not least is Dr. Christopher Qualls. Dr. Christopher Qualls has been a professor with Emory and Henry for a long period of time. He's been a dean, and he does all of our behavioral courses, and he's been my statistician. So thank you very much, Dr. Qualls. So at this point, I want all the students to rise up, and we're going to give you a big round of applause. And you should look at each other because you're looking at your future colleagues. So the future of the PA profession is in good hands here. So at this point, thank you. Yeah. You deserve applause. At this point, we're going to have Professor Presley read the PA oath and then make closing remarks.
Good afternoon, students. Please remain standing. Please repeat after me. I pledge to perform the following duties with honesty and dedication. I will hold as my primary responsibility the health, safety, welfare, and dignity of all human beings. I will uphold the tenets of patient autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. I will recognize and promote the value of diversity. I will treat equally all persons who seek my care. I will hold in confidence the information shared in the course of practicing medicine. I will assess my personal capabilities and limitations, striving always to improve my medical practice. I will actively seek to expand my knowledge and skills, keeping abreast of advances in medicine. I will work with the other members of the healthcare team to provide compassionate and effective care of patients. I will use my knowledge and experience to contribute to an improved community. I will respect my professional relationship with the physician. I will share and expand knowledge within the profession. These duties are pledged with sincerity and upon my honor. In closing today, I would like to say a blessing of the hands prayer. This prayer was once said over my hands when I started in hospital medicine. I've always held it very sacred and dear to my heart. Blessed be the work of your hands that will provide comfort to those in need. Blessed be your hands that will provide hope and strength to patients who are suffering. Blessed be your hands that give peace to those in fear and pain. Blessed be your hands that nurture and care for the lonely. Blessed be your hands that embrace others with passion. Blessed be your hands that will plant new seeds and touch new life. Blessed be your hands that will wipe away tears. Blessed be your hands that have reached out and been received. Blessed be your hands that embrace death and comfort those who mourn. Blessed be your hands that carry out tasks as part of taking care for each other, your family, and community. Blessed be the hands that hold the promise of the future. Blessed be the work of your hands through Jesus Christ our Lord, who will bless you and equip you to fulfill his purpose for your life. Let us pray or observe a moment of silence. Loving God, you've created us with a capacity to heal, to restore and offer peace through our role in healthcare. Help us to be signs of love and compassion in the world today, honoring every person we meet who is in need of healing. When our burdens are heavy, renew us. Remind us of the blessing of your calling and reawaken our commitment to healing. Amen.
Thank you very much. That concludes our ceremony.